Slipheed The Lost Planet would be among some of the earliest video games ever released on the PlayStation 2 platform, dating way back from September in the year 2000, and would release in other regions in early 2001. And depending on the region that it was in, it would just simply be known as Slipheed. But essentially the game would be a sequel to a game of the same name that was released years prior way back on earlier classic consoles and 8-bit systems, even with the arcade, which acts as a vertical scrolling shooter where you pilot a heavily armoured flight ship capable of being able to use a variety of different weapon types, which you will need to combat your way throughout the game's many stages. And the objective of each is to make it to the end by destroying various formations of enemies and bosses, avoiding projectiles and explosions along the way. One of the interesting aspects about this game is that it also has a beginner level difficulty, which makes it and eases players into the experience, but does offer up different modes for more challenge if that's what you want. But for a very early game, graphically it's fairly decent. A lot of these type of shoot 'em ups do generally have good graphics, especially when they've added 3D elements into them, and considering this is one of the earliest games to release on the PS2, it's not half bad. Now, even regarding the reviews, the game did get fairly decent reviews, but in some cases would receive average in many other ways, stating that they liked the entry level elements like I mentioned, but the game was seen to be lacking somewhat of an inspiration with regards to the variety of shooters that had already been seen previously on other consoles, even with the likes of the PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn, which those consoles had some of the best arcade shoot 'em up ports out there of any system at that point. But what I like about it is the fact is that it doesn't make it too difficult for you to get into it. If you're a casual player coming in, you will enjoy this, as you can get to grips with it fairly quickly, and it's a lot easier to understand what to do in the beginning compared to other scrolling shooters that I have played over the years. But at the same time, the difficulty can be changed if you want more of a challenge, so you can preference it to your own play style, which a lot of other games tend to not do, because usually you go in and it's difficult from the get-go and mainly about precision. If you're not good, there's no room for error, whereas this game doesn't really do that. In a way, you're not completely crucified for your mistakes, but it's simple enough to pick up and play. Like, for an early entry on the console, it's not a bad attempt. It's a fairly decent and solid game, and like I said, will be more suitable for people that are just wanting to play it more casually, even for beginners. They will get something out of this, even enjoy it. Having spent time playing it myself on and off over recent times, I definitely enjoyed it. Right, it's probably not the best shoot 'em up I've ever played, but it's a good solid one, and again, because of the entry level elements, it's not all that difficult to understand, which makes the experience a lot more enjoyable in my book, and I did enjoy this one. So with that being said, I would love to know your thoughts of Slipheed for the PlayStation 2. What did you think of it overall? Would this have been one of the first games you ever got when the PlayStation 2 first came out back in the day? And if so, what did you think of it overall? So be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you would like to see more content around more unique shoot 'em ups like this that were also released on the console over the years, then you can check out this playlist right here.